What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today we're going to talk about the day the Earth blew up. Oh man, I didn't know it blew up. Well, I guess we're going to learn about it. Maybe the Earth got put back together. I don't know. You'll be on this journey with me. We'll learn things together. Click like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I don't know where it is. I'm blind. I don't know what device you're using. You're just going to have to you'll figure it out. I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe. How many YouTube channels have told you today that they believe in you? That's a reason to subscribe. Anyway, yeah, I'm a blind film critic. Others say that they go into things blind. I actually go into everything blind. Like this movie, which I've actually seen before, but you wouldn't know that because I didn't review it the first time I saw it. So my history with The Day the Earth Blew Up is I'm a critic. Hello. I'm a tomato meter approved critic. Super hello. The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie, was sent to me in November 2025 as part of like my year-end consideration package. Sort of new to these critics groups, and I didn't want to. I was worried about, I didn't know about posting a review of it at the time because it didn't have its wide theatrical release, was slated for sometime 2025, yeah, it was November 2024, and then 2020. Anyway, I don't know what I just said. Subscribe. So, basically I saw this movie like 9 months ago, something like that, and it didn't have audio description at the time, and I asked for it. And one of the things that I thought was weird and slightly awesome about this movie was when we got the screener for it, it had 15 views. Sometimes you have a certain amount of times you can view a film as a critic, and it's only 15, and I was like, God, that's insane. It was like, who needs that many? But, you know, hey, whatever. Maybe somebody wanted to watch it 15 times before they decided. They're very discerning about their nominations. So, great. I mean, put a high number on there. So, it didn't have audio description, which was a struggle for me. I felt like I was missing a lot of things. So, it didn't end up on my ballots for animated. And I kind of felt about it. I don't know that if my grade at the time in November, if I was on the tomato meter at the time, that my grade would be fresh based off of that. So it probably would have been rotten, to be honest, because it wasn't a fun experience. It's Looney Tunes, but without audio description. And also new Looney Tunes too, which I appreciate the fact that we're doing that. Like, I appreciate the fact that we're bringing in Looney Tunes, and this stars Daffy, Porky, and Petunia. So we're roping in some of the major characters here. It's not all of them. I mean, I'm grasping at straws. I was watching the Tiny Toons University show. I don't know what happened to that. Did it die? Is it dead? I thought it got picked up for a second season. I never really saw the second season. I saw the first episode before it popped up on Max, then no more after that. But yeah, so that was fun. You know, that was cute. I feel like I'm grasping at straws with Looney Tunes. We're just not seeing much of them, and Warner Brothers doesn't know what to do with the franchise. Just like Disney doesn't really know what to do with the Muppets. You know, it's kind of the same thing. So The Day the Earth Blew Up existed, and of course we know Coyote versus Acme. That was out there. Warner Brothers was trying to use that as a tax write-off. I believe that now has distribution through Ketchup Entertainment, who is doing The Day the Earth Blew Up. I know other people wanted to buy the film too, but I think this relationship they have with Ketchup releasing the film and then it being on Warner Brothers Max, you know, HBO Max, probably is the best relationship for them, so that way they can keep control of the brand instead of casting it. Although they've done it with their other brands. I mean, there's an animated Batman series on Amazon, so you know, Scooby-Doo is being made over at Netflix. I don't know that they're that tight on brand loyalty, but maybe they still are for Looney Tunes. So This is kind of a throwback to sci-fi films of like the 40s, 50s, 60s, like those old school, um, mainly the 50s, but I mean, it does kind of bleed a little bit around. Uh, and it's sort of an alien invasion movie, but it's very Looney Tunes. It's like centered, even like the sort of like the catalyst for how things start happening has to do with chewing gum. So like there's this chewing gum that turns people into these zombies. But we see like there's an alien, and then we find out that Daffy and Porky have been adopted by like a farmer, and they live on a farm, and they're trying to like he left, uh, he's left. I mean, people don't die in these things, so he just abandoned them, and so now they're trying to put the farm together and fix it, and they're struggling. And there's some excellent commentary about job. I've never had a job a day in my life. Like they actually have to go get jobs so they can have money to be able to repair the roof. And if they don't repair the roof, then their house is condemned. So they head to try to find a job. Porky runs into Petunia, and there's this company that she works for where they make gum, and Petunia's trying to find like the best flavor of gum. And meanwhile, this alien uses it to make this other kind of like mind control gum. But why is he doing it? That's the mystery. So Daffy sort of notices that these people are turning into zombies, and he's trying to warn everybody and keep Petunia and Porky. And eventually the three of them are going to have to put their heads together to save the Earth. But from blowing up? I don't know. It is called The Day the Earth Blew Up. So, there's some interesting twists and turns. Having watching this a second time, so both a plus and a negative. The positive is now it has audio description on Max. So sort of like Flow, which I had to sit through once without audio description, which was maddening. Now this movie has audio description on HBO Max. So kudos. I'm not sure if it had it in its theatrical release. I wasn't like leaping out of my seat to see this movie again in theaters after having seen it the first time. And again, I wasn't blown away by it. So watching it again with audio description, I thought the audio description track certainly put a lot of focus into what are a lot of visual side gags that are typical of Looney Tunes projects, and a lot of puns that they have. There's like one time where Porky says something about like getting rid of, we can't have any cracks, and Daffy has like a butt crack showing. So he's like, Daffy, I said no crack, and it's like his butt crack. Now that joke doesn't play to blind people with an audio description, because you're like, what crack is he talking about? You know, is it crack, cocaine? I mean, like, what? I know it's not, but seriously, I mean, like when you leave it sort of open-ended and open to interpretation without audio description in any film, it's like our brains are left to try to fill in what's happening here. I don't know. Sounds like somebody's being murdered. Nobody's being murdered. Like it's whatever our brain puts together in that moment. So there are plenty of little jokes like that play better, and silent jokes too. They're sort of like the main alien. He has this bumbling sidekick that is, the typical Looney Tunes humor, and he's trying to do something, and he's really bad at it, and everything's falling apart. And silently, that alien like turns and looks to us, the audience, and his eyebrows get furrowed, like he's getting, increasingly, and he's tapping his fingers, just sort of waiting for this calamity to stop happening. But that's like an entirely silent thing. It's like a facial reaction, but that's the gag. The gag is watching him react to all of the shenanigans happening. So without audio description, this film really doesn't work, which is why I didn't like it before. Now I'm watching it, and I'm like, but do I like the film now? Now that I have full access to it? I grew up on Looney Tunes. I grew up on Merry Melodies and well, Silly Symphonies and obviously the Disney cartoons also, all that old stuff. But yeah, I grew up with duck season, wabbit season, duck season, wabbit season. So I knew, you know, the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner movie and some of the other things that we had as kids with these characters. And then we started making movies with them. And at first, like Space Jam was great. I mean, like it was cool, it was fun. It was a great use of the property, mixing it with something. And for kids, being a kid when Space Jam came out, like that was it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was a great branding experience. It had a killer soundtrack. And then they did Looney Tunes Back in Action. Not quite the same thing. And then they just kind of gave up after that. They were just like, well, we can't, this isn't going to work anymore. And I think they've just kind of been really dormant on Looney Tunes, not fully knowing. I think they've made some new Looney Tunes shorts here and there. Obviously, these are completely new voice actors from the original. So now we're into that sort of like Rick and Morty phase where we're getting people who sound like the original voices, but they're not the original voices, which is okay because Disney's having to do the same thing too. I don't know if you know this or not, but that's not the same guy who first voiced Mickey Mouse. Surprise. So yeah, it's got a certain charm and hopefulness to it of like what could be, of like things. It's innovative, it's creative, but isn't entertaining. I kind of thought it overstayed its welcome. I kind of thought it was an idea that just plays too long. Like it's fine, but especially sitting through it on a second time through, even with audio description, it was cute. I mean, but there's a reason why these guys really work well in shorts. And I think part of the problem is that they take these characters who are, they're not the leads anyway. They're supposed to be sort of like goofy characters, goofy side characters. And they're kind of being propelled into leads. They're not Bugs. You know what I'm saying? This is not Bugs Bunny here. You've elevated Daffy and Porky into leads. They're the sidekicks. They're the best friends usually. And I noticed that Porky doesn't stutter really anymore. We've stopped that. And they're trying to play it straight. It's not quite as funny because that's not really what they were supposed to be. That's not what their original conception was. But they don't have a Bugs to play off of. I think this film lacks a Bugs Bunny. I do. I think in the chemistry, when you pull Bugs Bunny from Looney Tunes and then you leave it open to everybody else, he's missed because he's the straight man. He's us. He's the closest thing that we have to a hero without any wacky quirks to him. And the other characters sort of have that. You know, Porky and Daffy both have their personality traits, whereas Bugs is supposed to be the straightforward hero. So making a movie without him feels odd. It does, like a return to form. Coyote versus Acme is interesting because that's sort of a separate franchise. I'd be curious to see how that works. Roadrunner and Coyote never really needed Bugs. You know, they had their own thing going. I don't know what that looks like in feature length. No idea. It could be really cool, though. I'll be interested to see it. But here, I think there's a little part of something that's missing. And especially for a longtime fan of Looney Tunes, I kind of missed all of them. Like, I kind of wanted them all to be here. I kind of wanted it to be Marvin. I kind of wanted, like, Foghorn Leghorn to play the farmer. You know, like, I kind of wanted to see and hear a lot of the characters instead of, like, they were given access to just a handful of characters. You know, like, they're only allowed to play with these characters. Like, you're playing with your best friend that's, like, a little kid, and you're over at his house, and he's got all of these toys. And they're all of his favorites, but then he's like, you can play with these too. This is all you get. And you're like, what? So this is it. Do you have friends like that? I did. Where like they wanted you to play with them, but they didn't want you to touch their toys because their toys were precious. So, yeah, it feels like that. It feels like Warner Bros. Was like, no, you don't get the full access to the Looney Tunes library. Because it would have made sense for a lot of these kind of little cameo-ish smaller roles to be played or represented through these other Looney Tunes characters, which would have been nice because we haven't seen them in a long time. So I positively, I want to come through and say The Day the Earth Blew Up was an amazing experience that changed my life, because I want to encourage more of this, because I think the next project, if we push it forward, if we keep making it, we'll make the right project. Do you know what I'm saying? I think this fell a little bit short for me. Not tremendously short, just a little bit short. And yeah, at the end of the day, I don't want to see it again. And that's kind of what it comes down to, is I've seen it twice. I don't want to see it again, but I really want to see the next thing. I really want to see the next thing. I really want to see them continue to push and evolve and return the Looney Tunes to their form. And that's something that's worth a little bit. So there's enough of something special here. It's like a proof of concept. We use that a lot in terms of, you know, that like the beginning stages of any movie, just sort of like an initial proof of concept. Like probably the most well-known example would be the Ryan Reynolds actually went and filmed like a little scene for Deadpool as a proof of concept to Fox that he could play Deadpool, which I'm glad they paid attention to. Now we've had some really huge Deadpool movies. Deadpool Wolverine made a ton of money, so that was definitely a proof of concept that was worth it. So this feels like that. It feels like a proof of concept. It feels like can Looney Tunes work in a modern world? Sort of. But I think what adult fans are going to be looking for here is that slice of nostalgia. And I don't know that picking and choosing and throwing and then trying to stretch it into feature length, like, they work fine when you have Daffy Duck in a short, right? And it's just Daffy Duck and he's in a short, and the short is like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and that's it. And then we move on to the next thing. Like, he's good for his own little shtick for a thing, but as the lead of a feature-length movie, I struggle. You know, I struggle without the other characters there. I think when you go feature-length, you have to bring everybody along for the ride, and I think that's probably the one thing here that I'm missing, is that. But kudos to the audio description team. Thanks for coming along. Like the guy's voice. I think he's pleasant. Also, I think he's engaging for kids without being so engaging that adults are going to find him grating. It's a nice, pleasant voice that kids will enjoy and upbeat, but he's not speaking to preschoolers, you know? So, The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie. Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm gonna give it a 5.5, and that's like a Rotten Tomatoes. So, sorry, it falls a little bit short for me. But could the next thing be great? Yeah, it could be. But I just think I wanted them all. I wanted more Looney Tunes in here. Maybe not all of them, because there are some really deep cuts. There are some deep Looney Tunes cuts. So, but like more of the core group would have fleshed out the movie more. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I will see you guys on the other side.